What subculture do you genuinely not understand? Women that write prisoners. My wife somehow got roped into this mess and refuses to give it up. Multiple phone calls a day, obsession over letters. She flew out to go visit one for 6 hours. I'm currently getting a divorce. She says she wants me back but isn't apologetic at all about talking to them and doesn't see the emotional damage she has caused by pouring all of her energy into talking to these guys. I am currently getting a divorce. Before reaching this sentence, I was really worried about you, dude. So yeah, get the hell out of there and don't look back. The people that take their pillow girlfriends out in public. Bug chasers. I will never understand knowingly becoming infected with a dangerous disease. Had to Google that one. It has nothing to do with catching insects. I don't understand how you can talk about vaping nonstop every day for months on end. I'm all for that stuff, but it's like me talking about apples and how they taste and different techniques for eating apples and how you know a guy in the next town over that makes custom apple eating forks and that you subscribe to Apple Eating Magazine. I vape. My conversations about vaping generally go like this. Me. Oh, that smells good. What flavor is it? Them. Raspberry lemonade? Me. Cool. The whole YouTube subculture with its drama, etc. To a lot of younger people, it's like celebrity culture but less mainstream. I've always heard about these odd dramatic vloggers who only take videos of their life, but I've never actually encountered one on YouTube until I walked in on my 11-year-old cousin watching one. I suppose you're right in saying that younger children are looking to these people as their variant of mainstream celebrities. The new Kardashians, maybe. The folks, usually men, usually from rural areas, who roll coal. They modify their big-ass diesel truck engines to emit a crapload of sooty exhaust. They'll sometimes even do this as they pass by pedestrians, blasting them with that pollution. They think it's funny and will even film it or post it on social media. I really don't understand these musician fan groups like Rihanna Navy or Katy Cats. Fair enough if you want to be a fan, but they take it to the extremes, hating other fan bases and trying to take over Twitter to be the biggest fan base, etc. Why can't people just enjoy things and accept that some people enjoy other things? Apparently Lorde doesn't like this kind of fandom either. Her fans wanted to call themselves the Disciples, but she said no. Teaboos. People obsessed with British culture. The UK is alright, but for everything good about it, there are many bad things. For every Blackadder, we have a Miranda. Cheating in multiplayer games, aimbotting and wall hacking, etc. The joy is the challenge. If you remove all the challenges, what's the point of the game? The anti-scientific groups on the internet. I mean, really, how do they think we got the internet in the first place? Turns out science is actually kind of useful stuff. There are a ton of different strains of this. A few in particular I'd like to mention are flat earthers for the sheer absurdity and the anti-vax movement for being such a simple but harmful variant of anti-science. My Little Pony people. Flat earthers. Feeders, the ones who love getting women obese. Drugs. Not just using it, but identifying so strongly with drug use that you think of it as a part of your culture is mind-boggling to me. For clarification, I'm including alcohol in this. Does this count with stoners? You smoke weed. Cool. It doesn't need to be the only thing you talk about, and you really don't need to have a leaf printed on every item of clothing that you have. People who sell "it works" and other similar MLMs. Anti-intellectualism. It's like stupid people learned about relativism and decided that everything can be an opinion. Opinions can be supported by facts, but that doesn't also make a fact an opinion. It's like someone absolved everyone of any sense of accountability. I've never experienced a movement before that made me ashamed to be from my country, and I almost never think in terms of my own national identity. I wish logic was a compulsory course in college. Stats should also be compulsory. The whole trend of people arguing feelings over statistics and anecdotal evidence over numbers is appalling. Yet stats can be manipulated, but that's exactly why people should learn them, to understand what they mean when they are presented to you so you can understand if you're being fooled or not. The whole stats can be made up and it's a hoax from the government to indoctrinate me is like, sweetie, you already are brainwashed. Really hardcore racists. I just don't understand them. I have seen entire forums ridiculed with racist nonsense, and it just really confuses me. Who has so much unnecessary hate for something that they are willing to waste so much of their time reading and writing about it? Why are these people like this? I don't know. But it is actually ridiculous some of the extents that these people go to just because someone is from a different country to you or looks a bit different, despite them still being human. Like once I read about a guy who refuses to eat Mexican food because they can't tolerate anything Mexican. Facebook salespeople. My friends have all decided to sell crap on Facebook. Now their entire identity is being a lotion salesperson. They post all day about how meaningless their lives were before selling lotion. They host cyber cocktail parties where they'll all sip wine and talk about lotion. They post pictures of their kids with captions like, "They are the reason I sell lotion." They travel to seminars about lotion. They mock all other lotions. They brag about how much lotion they sell and try to recruit everyone around them. We aren't even friends anymore because they don't have any time or energy to waste on non-lotion people. Mom culture. I'm a mom. It's hard, it's tiring, it's thankless, but I don't sit and drink wine all day. I don't hide in the laundry room with a bottle of wine. I don't pressure myself to be the best according to other people's standards. I don't get it. Is there something I'm missing? It's like this. Kids are kids. Kids do and say dumb things every day. They're irritating and loud and messy, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. They don't do a different sport every day. They don't get paid for doing their chores. I tell them no all the time. I buy them semi-cheap clothing because they're either going to ruin it or outgrow it after 1 or 2 uses. I don't run a kid-centered household. I run a parent-centered household, and if they don't like it, they can live somewhere else. My job, my endgame as a mother, is to make sure my children are functioning, intelligent, reasonable adults who can think for themselves and hopefully make this world a better place. They each have talents, and I need to help them find what they are and how they can use them to their full potential. I take pictures of them often, but I don't share them for likes or go viral. My kids do hilarious crap. It goes in the memory jar. I send an email to the account I made for them. When did catering to the child's every whim become a thing? Why is it a thing? I am not a yoga pants wearing, wine bottle chugging, organic only, perfect Pinterest party planning mother. I'm just a regular mom with regular kids and a regular husband living a regular life. I guess I'm more of a Roseanne mom than whatever else these crazy people are putting on. A lot of the girls I went to school with have kids now, and this feels like the only way to describe them. I call them Facebook moms. I can't explain why, but I get so annoyed over some of their statuses. Only my child could fall over on the way to the doctor. Really? Only your child? Your child is the only child who could do some super common thing that might mildly inconvenience you? The Minion memes alone make me want to start chugging wine. Criminal motorcycle gangs. Guy 1. Okay, we're going to band together to commit organized crimes, like selling drugs and doing violent stuff. So dress like normal people and fade into the background so we don't get caught. Guy 2. Undercover cop. No way, man. We're gonna wear black leather jackets with a great big colorful patch on the back, and then we're gonna ride these very loud and obnoxious motorcycles so everyone knows who we are and what we're up to. Guy 1. Okay, cool. Let's go with that. Guy 2. Walking away. My job here is done. Most motorcycle clubs started as just that. The enjoyment of motorcycles. Many older clubs were mostly vets just looking for something after the war. Depression turned into drugs. Drugs turned into criminal activities, turned into full-on outlaw gangs. Those React videos that are now on YouTube, what's the deal with that? Can't the new generations make up their own opinions? There's a difference between a reaction and an opinion, people. It depends. Some videos like Elders React to GTA I find awesome, but other React videos are cringeworthy. I think the Elders React is the only one I would watch. It's interesting to look at the generational change, but when it's some kid reacting to Lady Gaga's new music video, how much can you react to a new song? Plastic surgery. Some people really do overdo it, like the human Barbie. The Barbie girl is a proper weirdo. Not only does she constantly claim that she hasn't had any surgery, but she also thinks she's some sort of alien goddess sent to us to save us from negative energy and the like. You forgot the part where she says she survives off of light and air and doesn't ever eat anything. People obsessed over the presidential and royal families. Yes, they all did great things, but what the hell? There's always a new documentary or book or movie about Kennedy, Reagan, or Princess Diana. I don't understand. What is there more to learn about these people? Jackie saw her husband die in front of her, and these people glorify it to make it some beautiful thing. And Diana, I loved her, but I'm not going to sit down and watch the 20th anniversary of a dead woman documentary. These people glorify her death and forget that Prince Henry and William have mental problems from losing their mom. I don't understand the fascination of Star Wars. I saw the movies, but didn't think much of them. Yet I see thousands of hardcore fanatics around the world. But it's okay if I don't understand it, as long as they're having fun. The magic works if you saw them in a receptible age. Then when I got older, I delved into the extended universe, which is a little more mature and, I hate to admit, flat out better fiction. Also, the memes are dank. Twitch chat. Especially the people so deep down into it that they bring the spam into real life. I enjoy streams a lot and like the game streaming community, but I really don't understand this subculture. I understand the meme factor of it and that people want to be a part of a group with similar interests, and I don't mind it at all on Twitch because I more often than not just hide the chat. But some people are bringing the plague in other online communities, and even in real life. Seriously, saying out loud Kappa when you're being sarcastic? Come on. I similarly did not understand Twitch chat at all, until I had someone explain it to me this way. It's just like the roar of a crowd in a stadium during a football match. You aren't meant to pick out individual comments, just the general emotional climate of the audience. You know, it makes a lot more sense when you look at it that way. Inner city black culture and rural white culture. As a non-American, race-based culture is weird to me. I get why it's a thing, but it makes as much sense to me as anything else in this thread. Scientology. Rick and Morty. There's not one thread on this sub without a reference to that crap. Just wait until the new season starts up. This site will be insufferable with the references. Rainbow culture. The colors, not LGBT. Unicorn culture, mermaid culture. I don't get it. Frick adulting, let's be mermaids. Shut up and pay your damn credit card bill, Shannon. I genuinely do not understand hipsters. I was in Brooklyn some time ago, and to me they just seemed like pleasure-seeking zombies on the lookout for the latest obscure and ironic thing to one-up their friends. Polyamory. I mean, I totally get why someone would want to have an open relationship, maybe even have more than one serious romantic relationship at the same time. But it seems that an overwhelming number of poly people form a sort of odd, to me, insular and distrusting subculture that includes a lot of other aspects of standard super geek culture, and who treat the way they have their relationships as their vocation with everything else secondary. If you want to have a regular threesome with a third mutual girlfriend or have sanctioned sex outside of your relationship, that's great. I think more people should do it, but I wouldn't like to feel that I had to beg to join this socially dysfunctional club to be able to do it. I always get this superiority vibe, like it works for them and not the rest of the world because they are in tune with themselves and each other on a level that the regular folk can't possibly understand. So other people don't like people in poly relationships because they're jealous they can't have poly relationships themselves, not because the poly people are just insufferable. Anti-vaxxers, especially parents not vaccinating their children. I had chickenpox in the mid-80s. I don't remember much about it because I was kept drugged up so that I would sleep through it. Why would you knowingly want your child to be sick and in pain? It doesn't make any sense. Cybergoth. There is so much going on there. I think cybergoth and most variations of goth look cool. I can understand dressing up like that for themed parties, cosplay fetish dungeons, clubs, etc. What I don't understand is people who live that lifestyle all the time and must be dressed goth at all times. Like, don't you get uncomfortable wearing all of that? Do you all have jobs where you can wear something like that? If so, what are they, and if not, how do you afford all of these expensive clothes? That's some dedication. Of course, there are probably people who don't do it 24/7, but I have heard from other goths that being casual about it is kind of frowned upon. It's strange. Sororities and fraternities. As terrible as it is, since my girlfriend was in one, but sororities and fraternities. I used to party with these kinds of people, and a ton of their mannerisms and thoughts were so odd to me. Oh lord, that 2.5 GPA minimum must be so hard to maintain because that's all the frat boys ever talked about, and sororities are even weirder to me. It really seems like most of the sorority girls hated each other, and all of the artificial drama over artificial families was/is ridiculous. I totally get the reason behind all of it. It's a business. But I avoid these people as much as possible, and I'll just blank out whenever my girlfriend starts talking about it. I mean, I know not everyone is that way in them, but it just is so foreign to me. In the city, there is this group of people that go to all the parties, and they dress very fashionable, mainly tight-fitting and a lot of black and white, and also stripes are common. They do their hair up very tall. They dance together in a group but constantly take selfies constantly. They dance very strangely, and at one venue with a mirror, they look into their own eyes and just keep dancing. It looks like narcissism to a whole new level. It's really bizarre and I just don't get it. People who base their entire lives on the Myers-Briggs personality test. There are even subs for the different personality types. There is a massive subculture spanning all races here in the US. It is the group that openly mocks, denigrates, and looks down upon education. I genuinely don't understand it. Education has been responsible for improving the quality of life for everyone who takes advantage of it. It elevates the quality and content of national discourse. It informs us of important developments in society and gives us insight into how these developments affect us. Yet I have seen so many people in my life mock the smart people and look at the educated with suspicion and mistrust. It is a tool that allows you to make your life better. Pentecostal Christian groups. Like, I used to belong to churches like that as a kid, but I don't see how anyone could be radically religious to the point of willfully ignoring all logic well into adulthood. American gun culture. Like the majority of the UK, we just don't understand why you can't see healthcare as a basic human right but insist that guns are. The generic nerd. The person who is super into the most mainstream example of every nerdy thing. I don't understand people who are super into Star Wars and Harry Potter and Batman and Avengers and Zelda and Skyrim and Doctor Who and Supernatural and Hunger Games and A Song of Ice and Fire, but never delve deeper than 2 pieces of media in any of those genres. I'm not saying these people are wrong, I'm not saying that they are not nerds, I'm not saying that they aren't allowed to like a variety of things, I just don't understand this line of logic. Oh wow, I love Game of Thrones. I watched the entire series twice and have spent hours reading up on the lore. I love how it was hundreds of years of history in many cultures. Surely I'll also enjoy Doctor Who and Batman, rather than one of those dozens of other fantasy series that also have deep lore. Gin in a tin cup bar. In the tiniest shop, floor space of like 12 feet by 12 feet, in the corner of a city block, filled with guys with mustaches, leather vests, and bowling shoes. I just couldn't understand, and it showed. They all stared as I just stared at them, wondering what era they were trying to replicate. I didn't know whether they were going for the 30s speakeasy look or the 40s big band looks. They didn't take to strangers staring at them like they were expecting dinner theater. Honestly, I don't really understand building a personal identity around a subculture in the first place. I have plenty of hobbies and interests that do have communities and subcultures, but I don't understand people that define their identity by the things that they're interested in. There are certain things I collect and certain crafts and hobbies I regularly enjoy, but I don't build my life and my identity around those things. To be perfectly honest, and this may offend some people, but I personally feel like a lot of people that go 100% into some subculture and build their identity around it do so because they have no idea who they really are, and just wear the costume of some subculture stereotype to fit in somewhere. White Native Americans. Those silly middle-aged white women that are like 1/64th Native, were raised in the suburbs, as were their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, and rattle on about their Native American heritage all day long while wearing native attire no natives would be caught dead wearing. Adult bronies confuse me, but hey, whatever makes you happy. 4chan culture is so alien to me. They seem like a bunch of politically motivated pranksters, but sometimes their members are simply unreasonably malicious in their bullying too. I don't get what they're all about. Rolling coal. I'm fine with enthusiasm for old cars and steam trains, but modifying modern engines to be less efficient and more damaging? I don't see what that celebrates. I don't understand Twitter. Even tweets don't make sense anymore. Any subculture that sees getting an education as anything other than a good thing. The first time I saw this was with black kids that thought getting their diploma was white. Since then, I've seen it with religious groups that call it anti-faith, and then I saw it with drug users. Okay, that last one at least makes a little sense since they're killing their brand sales anyway, but I will never understand why someone would be willfully ignorant. Being ignorant is fine. Being willfully ignorant requires a dedication to stupidity that boggles the mind. Those people who put rings in their ears to make the holes big enough to drive my car through. I mean, hey, if that's what your thing is, I got no problem with it. I just don't get the appeal. Prepper/militia culture. I live in Michigan, and it's big out here. These people spend tens of thousands of dollars preparing for some sort of war that they have no good reason to think will actually occur. I'm talking these people stockpile weapons and food, build underground bunkers, conduct tactical training, and have logical and regional and national meetings. They aren't messing around. The scary part is that they get so into it that they sort of yearn for the world to fall apart. I honestly think it's only a matter of time till one of them pulls another Oklahoma City. Hitler admirers. YouTube personalities. My kids watch these people religiously. There is zero entertainment here. I mean, I get it. When I was a kid, my mom hated, "You can't do that on television. You aren't going to like lots of crap that your kids like." But there are grown adults watching this crap. I just can't. There is actually some excellent content on YouTube that would never be found on television. Everything you can imagine, for every niche, is there. There's obviously a lot of awful content, seeing as anybody can post there. I'm sure that's what your kids like because kids have terrible taste. But I watch and enjoy many channels that review and explain films in great detail, talk about games in very different manners, etc. What I'm saying is, there's good and bad on any entertainment platform, and it's unfair of you to lump them all in "this is terrible" camp. Would you ever say all television is awful? I doubt it, because that's such a blanket statement, and if you wouldn't say that, then you're a hypocrite for saying that about YouTube. Motorcycles and having to be as loud and obnoxious as possible because why exactly? Why is it necessary to be as loud as possible, then congregate in large groups of being obnoxious? Why is it necessary to start up your glorified bicycle and then idle it for 15 minutes while doing nothing? Do they just crave the attention that badly? Do they hate everyone around them? Genuinely mind-boggling. Bicycles are fun, but motorcycles are even more so. That's why I ride both. The idling thing goes back to an old idea that warming your motor up before using it helps extend its life. That's still something debated in the community. It mainly applies to really old bikes, or one with extensive engine mods. The loud pipes thing is different for people. Some think it's a safety thing so people know to look out for you on the road. Some people are just gearheads and like the sound of customizing their bikes. Other people just want to be loud and obnoxious, like you said. I don't really understand biker cultures though. I tend to like riding alone. People who spend tons of money buying cosmetic skins for online games that nobody cares about except them. I've never bought a cosmetic item in a game, with real money, and I never will. But even if you do spend a few bucks here and there, that's nothing next to those who spend thousands buying loot boxes. It's such a scam. Anarcho-capitalism. I don't understand how anyone could look at the world today and think, yes, get rid of the government oversight, give all the power to corporations. I really don't get sovereign citizens at all. I worked at what can be best described as a government conspiracy radio station almost 10 years ago. That's where I first heard of them. Most of what I heard at that station was way out there stuff. Alex Jones type stuff. Then recently I found a whole compilation on YouTube of these folks acting a fool and getting arrested. The one that sticks out to me is this Valley girl that told a cop that she and her friend got the benefits and rights of being an American citizen without having to follow any of the laws. Unreal. Anti-vaxxers and people who believe in a natural cure for diseases instead of a well-researched and well-developed medical solution. People who self-identify as other animals, i.e. that think they are a cat in a human body. Transsexual people have a biological basis in the form of hormone exposure while the brain is developing and thus are perfectly mentally healthy in that regard, i.e. in terms of their gender identity. You are not a cat in a human body. Therians. No, you do not have the soul of a wolf living inside you. Furries. Anti-vaxxers. Thanks for the recent measles outbreaks, you Google-educated idiot. Dabbing. 4chan. CrossFit. I'm about to get downvoted to hell, and it might not even be a subculture, but whatever. I just don't understand the romanticizing of transgender/non-gender people. Clarification, I understand what it means to be trans and non-gendered, and I believe these people deserve equal rights. The part I don't understand is putting them on the cover of People magazine so that people can gossip and objectify them, then turn around and tell you how much they support their struggle like it's the new hip thing to do. Like they're so heavily placed in the public eye so that channels like MTV can claim how progressive they are. Like seriously? Exploiting them for entertainment. Yeah, that's progressive. Then people watch these shows and read these articles and feel like they're in line with the struggle. It's kind of disgusting. If you want to make a difference, go convince people in your community who has contrasting opinions that will actually affect change, not sitting in a circle of people who agree with you. Sneakerheads. It's the same as collecting anything else, just happens to be shoes. Anti-free speech people. It blows my mind that some of them basically worship the idea of an Orwellian state. Gender fluidity is a weird concept to me, and the quick indignation culture that internet brought too. Burning Man seems like an excuse to dress up weird and stay clean for selfies, or get as dirty as you possibly can. Conspiracy theorists. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I just can't relate to any of your opinions. Self-amputation. Kanye fans. I like his music, but his fans are weird to me. None of them. All of them boil down to people just wanting to belong to something. Sneakerheads. Seriously, they're just shoes. How are shoes that important? NASCAR fans. What is so entertaining about watching cars drive in a circle 90 times? Nationalism. People don't choose when and where they are born. Why feel superior and even proud of something you didn't do? Not only that, but something that was also completely outside of your control as well. It's like being proud of my birthmarks. Then they start hating other countries as if those people also had any saying in who was gonna stamp their birth certificates. Music-obsessed people. Not people who make music, but people who won't accept you into their circle until you know every single lyric from their 20K obscure bands that you can't stand to listen to. Why can't music be an expression of emotion and personality, rather than an extension of gatekeepers' egos? Do extreme feminists count? Like the ones that want men dead? 'Cause yeah, that one. Football hooliganism. Why? Supreme and the whole streetwear culture. Social justice warriors. Thanks for watching until the end. If you have an example you'd like to give, please do so in the comments below, but please remember to be respectful. Then be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when our next video is available. For more videos like this one right now, please stop by our channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.